Prospecting for more leads with no cold calls. Join me now on the Dave Lorenzo Daily to find out how. Welcome to the Dave Lorenzo Daily. Today, I'm going to give you the 7-step checklist, that will help you prospect for more leads with no cold calls. That's right, you get more leads, no cold calls. It's going to transform your prospecting, and I'm glad you could join us. I first shared this prospecting checklist with professionals, with lawyers, architects, CPAs, financial service providers, high-end realtors, folks who targeted affluent individuals, people who manage family offices. That's where this checklist began. And it began because they couldn't cold call. It's not that they didn't want to cold call, they just couldn't. Could you imagine picking up the phone and banging all day to try and get in touch with millionaires? They're not going to give you the time of day. Millionaires don't buy stuff from cold calls. And the reason they don't buy stuff from cold calls, it's impossible when prospecting to get through on a cold call to a millionaire. So I developed this 7-step prospecting checklist designed to help people get in touch with affluent individuals, designed to help people get in touch with CEOs in a business-to-business setting. Each of these steps is super simple. You can execute them right now with the tools you currently possess, and you're going to be blown away by the results. Before we get to that, I want to remind you that if you need help with your sales plan, you need help with a strategy to get in front of the ideal target client, the perfect client for you, I want you to give me a call. I'm Dave Lorenzo, and you can reach me at 888-444-5150, 888-444-5150, and this is the 7-step prospecting checklist that will transform your process for attracting new leads. We'll start with step 1, and that's to call all your current clients and ask them to meet someone specific that they know. If you have a good relationship with your clients, you know who they know, and you know the perfect person that they can introduce you to. So what you have to do is you have to explain why you want to meet that person, and explain the value you're going to provide, and explain how this introduction of you to your client's friend or your client's business associate will make your client look good. That's the key. Explain how this is going to help your client look good when your client introduces you to someone that they know. So how do you figure out who your client knows? How do you figure out who they can introduce you to? It's simple. You have conversations with them. You get to know them, get to know their business, get to know their personal life. Then you will know who they know. You'll know the perfect person for them to introduce you to, that perfect person who's going to be the ideal client for you. So step 1, call current clients and ask them to meet someone that they know. Step number 2, again, you're calling your current clients and you're asking them to connect you with an industry trade association for a speaking engagement. You're asking your current clients to put you in front of an industry trade association for a speaking engagement. It's really not that difficult. You simply ask your clients what trade associations they belong to. Ask them what industry groups they participate in. Once you find out, you know where you can go for speaking engagements. You know that they know someone there. You ask them to make that connection, and then you work your way into a speaking engagement at that industry trade association. After all, if your best client belongs to an industry trade association, it makes sense there are more people just like him in that same group. So you ask your current client to connect you with an industry trade association speaking engagement. Step 3, reach out to your friends, to your relatives, the people you went to high school, college, trade school with, and you ask them those same 2 questions. You ask them to introduce you to someone that they know, You ask them to introduce you to an industry trade association for a speaking engagement. This is going to require you to do a little research. You're going to have to go into LinkedIn and Facebook and see who your clients know, see who your friends know, see who your relatives know. You're going to have to ask them some good questions and explain to them how you deliver value to people, but these people are interested in your success. They're your friends, they're your relatives. They want you to be successful. They want to help you. You can go to them and ask them for these favors, and it's going to be much easier and much more effective than making a cold call. Step 4, you're going to reach out to your vendors and you're going to explore your vendors network, doing the same 2 things that we've talked about already. You're going to ask your vendors to introduce you to someone specific, and then secondly, you're going to ask your vendors to connect you with a speaking engagement at an industry trade association. Your vendors are a powerful network that has gone overlooked for far too long. There are people working with you and your company right now who can and will help you. If nobody else has a vested interest in your success, your vendors do, because the more money you make, the more business you can do with them, the easier it is for you to pay them. Your vendors want to help you be successful. Delve into their network on LinkedIn. See who they know, see who their other clients are, see if they can connect you with their other clients. You want a double secret strategy to this? Help your vendors put on a client appreciation event with you as the featured speaker. Have them invite all their clients, and then you become the featured speaker, so then you know who they know. Step 5 is joint venture marketing. Explore everyone else who sells to your best client. Ask your best client to introduce you to all their vendors, and then you'll see everyone else who's selling to your best client. Exchange ideas for who you can introduce them to, and they will help you with introductions. These are vendors who are selling to your client now. These are not vendors who are selling directly to you. These are people who are selling to your best client. Do joint ventures with people who are selling to your best client. So, if you're a CPA, go to your client and say, I want to know who your attorney is. I want to know who your financial advisor is. I want to know who the people who sold you this office space or rented you this office space are. I want to know the people that you connect with who help you every day become more successful. And then you, the CPA, do joint ventures with those people. This works even if you're a salesperson selling office supplies. If you sell office supplies, you go to your client and you say, I want to know who sells your copier. I want to know who does your payroll. I want to know who helps you with all the other ancillary facility services, the people who are your cleaning company. I want to know the people who handle your workers' compensation insurance. I want to meet all those people. You can do joint ventures with them to help you get in front of people who are just like your best client. Joint ventures are an underappreciated strategy for you to use when prospecting. Here's the thing about prospecting. Everybody thinks about prospecting as getting on the phone and calling people who can do business with you. Most people think about it as getting on the phone and calling strangers, calling people who don't know you, like you, and trust you. All of these strategies that I've introduced to you in today's prospecting checklist, all of them have some sort of a connection. There's some sort of a relationship there, so it makes it easier for you to connect when you're prospecting. Okay, so step 5 is joint ventures. Step number 6, an endorsed mailing. You'll be amazed at how well this works. If your client is in the manufacturing of widgets industry, they're in the manufacturing industry and they manufacture widgets, I want you to find out who the #1 top company is in the widget world. And I want you to find out who everyone respects. I want you to go to that person, the person who's the #1 consultant or #1 speaker in the widget manufacturing world, and I want you to say to that person, listen, I want to do an endorsed mailing where you mail I mail something to your list, or I give you something to mail to your list on my behalf with a free offer. And the free offer can be as simple as a report or a checklist, like the checklist I'm doing right now for you. you have the top person in that industry do a mailing to everyone in their network saying, here is Joe Smith's checklist, the 5 things you need to know about manufacturing widgets. I want you to have this checklist as a free gift because I respect Joe and I think that Joe has valuable information for you. If you get an endorsed mailing from someone who's a celebrity in the industry, someone who's the top person in the industry, that mailing is going to be well received and people will call you to get your free offer. So an endorsed mailing is a phenomenal way for you to do some prospecting without having to cold call. Have someone who's a celebrity or the top person in a specific industry do a mailing offering something from you to their list. Even if you have to compensate this person, it is better than making cold calls because it's an introduction from someone they trust. Finally, step 7 is to facilitate an industry roundtable. This sounds complicated, it really isn't. What I want you to do is I want you to get the industry leaders together at as high a level as possible. So if you work in an industry where you can reach out to the CEOs of the top 50 or 100 companies, I want you to invite them to a roundtable at a 5-star restaurant in a fancy hotel or a 5-star restaurant for breakfast. And you're going to facilitate an industry discussion. You, regardless of what your role is in your company, you personally, as a thought leader, are going to facilitate the industry discussion among these CEOs. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, hey, I'm a salesperson. I work with the Vice President of Human Resources. I don't work with the CEOs. That's fine. As long as the Vice President of Human Resources is the decision maker and they have budgetary authority, I want you to get 50 people together on a list of vice presidents of human resources, and I want you to send out invitations to them to come to your HR leadership roundtable at the restaurant in the Four Seasons in your city. If you invite 50, 5 will show up. If you invite 100, 10 will show up. If you invite 200, you may get 15 to 20. I want you to invite 300, 400 leaders, thought leaders in your industry, people who could buy from you, and I want you to get them into a room for breakfast or for lunch. Here's what you're going to do then. You're going to come up with a dozen questions that are thought-provoking and will stimulate discussion. You're going to welcome everyone and you're going to pose each of those questions and start discussions. You're going to have someone there who takes notes and you're going to send the notes out after the meeting and you're going to follow up with each person after the meeting. You don't have to offer anything brilliant in the meeting. Simply bringing these people together and facilitating the discussion gives you power, authority, and thought leadership. So facilitating the roundtable discussion is step 7 in your prospecting for leads checklist without cold calling. I want to remind you that if you need help with your sales plan, you need help with a strategy to get in front of the ideal target client, the perfect client for you, I want you to give me a call. I'm Dave Lorenzo, and you can reach me at 888-444-5150. 888-444-5150.